Welcome to Bluetti Power Academy, an educational series focused on helping you better understand portable and backup power. Today, we're going to talk about RV solar in a way that actually makes sense in the real world. Because when people first start thinking about solar, the first question they ask is usually, how many watts of solar do I need? But that's only part of the question. The better questions are, what kind of RV do I have? How do I travel? Am I using portable panels, rooftop panels, or both? And does my solar setup actually match the system I'm plugging into? Because you can't just take any group of solar panels, connect them together, plug them into any power station and hope for the best. Solar has to fit the system. So in this lesson, we're going to look at 3 real RV solar setups. A simple portable setup with the Bluetti Elite 300, a more capable modular setup with the Apex 300, and a larger installed RV setup with the RV5 and Rooftop solar. Let's start with the simplest version. This is one Bluetti portable solar panel connected to a portable power station. In this example, I'm using a 350 watt portable panel with the Bluetti Elite 300. This is about as simple as RV solar gets. You set the panel out, aim it towards the sun, plug it into the power station, and now you're bringing solar energy back into the battery. For a weekend camper or someone with lighter power needs, this can make a lot of sense. You're not modifying the RV, you're not installing anything on the roof, and you're not rewiring the electrical system. You're just using solar to recharge a portable power station. Now here's something important. This panel is rated at 350 watts. But if we look at the input right now, we're bringing in around 132 watts. That doesn't mean the panel is defective. Solar panel ratings are best case numbers under ideal lab conditions. In real RV life, the sun isn't always perfect. The angles change, clouds happen, the panel gets hot, there may be dust on the panel, there may be shade from trees, the RV, or other objects. And the time of day makes a big difference. So if a 350 watt solar panel is bringing in 132 watts, that can be completely normal. The number printed on the panel tells you what it can do in ideal conditions. The number on the power station tells you what it's doing right now. And for RVers, that real number is the one that matters. Now let's move up a level. This is the Bluetti Apex 300. The Apex 300 is a more capable power station. And one of the most important differences is that it has 2 PV inputs. PV just means solar inputs. So a natural question is, if it has 2 solar inputs, could I just use 2 portable panels? And the answer is yes, as long as the panels are compatible with the input limits. 1 or 2 portable panels, a portable power station, no permanent installation, and enough solar to help you extend your time off-grid. This is where people start asking a bigger question. What if I want more solar than that? And that's where the wiring starts to matter. You can't connect a bunch of panels together randomly and hope for the best. The way you connect them changes what the power station sees. And the easiest way to understand this is with bottles and doorways. Every solar input is like a doorway. Voltage is how tall the doorway is. Current is how wide the doorway is. Watts are how much total power can move through the doorway. Your solar panels have to fit through that doorway. If the setup is too tall in voltage, it doesn't fit. If the setup is too wide in current, it doesn't fit. And that can be true even if the watt number sounds reasonable. And this is where a lot of RVers get confused. They might say, well, my power station can take 1,200 watts of solar and this array is only 800 watts, so I should be fine. Not necessarily, because watts are not the only limit. The solar input also has a voltage limit and a current limit. So the solar array has to fit the doorway in all 3 ways: voltage, current, and total watts. In our bottle analogy, series wiring is like stacking bottles on top of each other. The stack gets taller. With solar panels, that means the voltage goes up. So if one panel is around 30 volts, two panels in series might be around 60 volts, four panels in series might be around 120 volts. That can be useful with the right equipment, especially when the system is designed for higher voltage. But if the solar input is only so tall, too many panels in series can make the stack too tall for the doorway. That means the voltage is too high, and that's not something you want to guess about. You have to match the wiring to the RV, the panels, the shade situation, the cable length, and the solar input limits. A simple way to think about parallel is this. Each panel gets its own lane, and then those lanes merge together before they reach the power station. In our bottle analogy, parallel wiring is like putting bottles side by side. The setup doesn't get taller, but it gets wider. With solar panels, that means the voltage stays lower, but the current goes up. So if one panel produces about 6 amps, two panels in parallel might produce around 12 amps, four panels might produce around 24. Now that can be useful when you need to keep voltage low. But if you put too many panels side by side, the setup can get too wide for the input. That means the current is too high. You don't need SolarX just to use a normal portable panel with the Apex 300. SolarX becomes relevant when you're dealing with larger solar arrays, especially rooftop arrays that don't fit neatly through the regular portable panel inputs. SolarX is not about making portable solar complicated. It's about giving larger solar arrays the right doorway. So the simple way to think about it is this. Apex direct solar inputs are a good fit for compatible portable solar panels. SolarX is the better conversation when you're trying to bring in a larger rooftop solar array. Rooftop solar is convenient because it's always installed and always ready when the sun hits it. Portable solar is useful because you can aim it. So a serious RV solar setup may use both. But when it's portable or rooftop, the same rule applies. The solar has to match the system. Here are the big takeaways. Number one, portable solar is the easiest place to start. Number two, rooftop solar is better for long-term RV use but requires more planning. Number three, the number printed on the panel is a best case rating. It's not what you should expect all day. Number four, when you connect multiple panels, wiring matters. Series makes the setup taller by raising voltage. Parallel makes the setup wider by raising current. And number five, every power station or RV power system has solar input limits. Voltage, current, and total watts all matter. So before you connect panels together, make sure the solar array fits the doorway. RV solar doesn't have to be confusing, but you do have to think about it in the right order. Start with how you travel. Then decide whether portable solar, rooftop solar, or both make sense. Then look at the system you're charging. And only then should you decide how many panels to use and how to wire them. Because solar isn't just about having panels, it's about having panels that match the system. In the next lesson, we'll take this beyond solar and look at the full high-capacity RV power system, batteries, inverter size, solar input, charging while driving, generator backup, and what it looks like in a real full-time RV use.